Dr. Kayla Voss stood in the sterile white corridors of the intergalactic medical station orbiting Proxima Centauri b, reviewing the case file that had stumped every xenobiologist in 3 star systems. The holographic display flickered before her eyes, showing 2 Xanthari patients, a mother and daughter, whose cellular structure was systematically breaking down in a way no known treatment could reverse. The Xanthari were a proud species, their crystalline skin reflecting light in prismatic patterns that changed with their emotions. But these 2, Shiara and her daughter Velana, showed only dull gray tones now, their internal light fading with each passing solar cycle. Kayla had watched 17 specialists from different species examine them. The Thalorian physicians with their 8 specialized sensory organs found nothing. The collective consciousness of the hive mind healers offered no solution. Even the ancient Krath, whose medical knowledge spanned millennia, simply shook their elongated heads and whispered of an irreversible genetic cascade. "It's the dimming plague," Shiara had explained in broken galactic common, her voice like wind chimes losing their melody. "My grandmother had it. My mother had it. Now Velana and I face the same end. Our people accept it as fate, but Kayla didn't believe in fate. She believed in molecular biology, quantum genetics, and the stubborn human refusal to accept the word impossible. For 3 weeks, she worked around the clock, barely sleeping, surviving on recycled coffee and determination. The other doctors had looked at the problem through their own biological frameworks, trying to repair what was broken. But Kayla looked deeper. She saw that the Xanthari cellular structure wasn't breaking down. It was transforming into something their current biology couldn't support. The dimming plague wasn't a disease. It was an incomplete evolution. Somewhere in the Xanthari past, their species had attempted a genetic leap that their DNA couldn't complete. Generation after generation, certain individuals carried this dormant evolutionary trigger, waiting for the right catalyst to finish what had begun thousands of years ago. But without that catalyst, the transformation simply destroyed them from within. Kayla's hands trembled as she ran the final simulation on her neural interface. The solution was radical, unprecedented, and would require her to do something no doctor in the Galactic Medical Council had ever attempted. She would need to complete an alien species evolution, using human genetic engineering techniques, combined with technology that she would have to invent. She approached Shiara's chamber. The Xanthari mother sat beside her daughter's bed, holding Velana's hand. The young girl, barely into her 2nd decade of life, struggled to keep her eyes open. Her crystalline skin had begun to crack, revealing the dying tissue beneath. "I have a theory," Kayla said softly, "but I need your trust." Shiara turned her fading eyes toward the human doctor. 18 specialists have tried and failed. Why should a human succeed where they could not? Kayla smiled. "Because humans don't know when to quit. We've cured diseases that should have wiped us out. We've survived extinction events, ice ages, and our own self-destructive tendencies. We've learned to rewrite genetic code, to edit DNA with precision tools to hack the very blueprint of life. And most importantly, we've learned that evolution doesn't have to be a passive process." She pulled up her holographic display, showing Shiara the cascading sequences of genetic code. "Your people aren't dying. They're trying to become something new. Your biology just doesn't have the tools to complete the transformation. But I can give you those tools." The procedure took 48 hours. Kayla synthesized a custom retroviral vector loaded with engineered genetic switches, part human innovation, part Xanthari biology, part pure theoretical xenoscience that she was making up as she went along. She introduced synthetic proteins that would act as scaffolding for the transformation, guide RNAs that would direct the cellular changes, and quantum-entangled markers that would ensure both mother and daughter underwent the evolution simultaneously, their cells learning from each other across the molecular divide. The Galactic Medical Council sent warnings. The station director threatened to shut down her lab, but Kayla locked the doors and worked through the night, injecting the treatment, monitoring the cellular changes, adjusting the protocol in real time as Shiara and Velana's bodies responded to the intervention. On the 3rd day, the crystalline structure began to stabilize. On the 4th day, new patterns emerged in their skin, not the dull gray of the dimming, but vibrant swirls of color that pulsed with internal light. On the 5th day, Velana opened her eyes and they glowed with a luminescence that no Xanthari had ever possessed. "What did you do to us?" Shiara whispered, looking at her hands as they flickered with bioluminescent patterns. "I completed what your ancestors started," Kayla explained. "You're still Xanthari, but you're also something more. Your cells can now process quantum energy directly from your environment. You don't need to consume as much. You can communicate through light patterns across vast distances. You can sense gravitational waves and electromagnetic fields. You've become what your species was always meant to be." Velana stood up for the first time in weeks, her body strong and alive. She looked at her mother, then at Kayla, and spoke in a voice that seemed to resonate with harmonic frequencies. "You gave us a new existence." Word spread quickly through the station, then across the sector, then throughout the entire galactic community. Dr. Kayla Voss, the human who refused to accept the impossible, had not just cured a disease, she had guided an entire species toward its evolutionary destiny. Other Xanthari suffering from the dimming plague came to the station. Kayla trained doctors from a dozen species on her technique. Within a year, thousands had undergone the transformation. The Xanthari Council declared a new age for their people, naming Kayla as an honorary member of their species, the first human ever granted such an honor. But for Kayla, watching Velana run through the station corridors, her skin blazing with colors that spoke of joy and life, was reward enough. She had proven what humans had always known in their bones, that evolution wasn't destiny, progress wasn't passive, and sometimes the best cure wasn't to fix what was broken, but to help it become what it was always meant to be. In the grand tapestry of the galaxy, humanity had earned its place not through strength or technology alone, but through something far more powerful, the stubborn, relentless belief that every problem had a solution, if you were brave enough to find it.